Welcome everyone to the 15th episode of the Boss Key podcast. I am McQuack306 as your co-host, and I am joined as always by Jesse. What's up, Jesse?
What up? Jebby G is here. Jesse Fergoso. Nothing much, man. Everything's going good. How are you doing?
I'm feeling a little green today. Not gonna
Green?
lie, feeling a
Oh no, man.
little
Are you
green
are,
today.
are, are you sick, man? Are you okay?
I have a fever, and the
Oh no, what
fever
do you
that I
got?
have is Xbox fever.
Ah! I just.
So cheesy.
Oh man, you had me worried, man. You were sick right now. You know what times were, man. You can't come up to me like this and tell me you're not feeling well.
Yeah, it's a cheesy, bad timing joke, but yeah, you know what it is. It's our episode, our 15th episode, and it's all about Xbox. We've been hyping it up.
All Xbox, baby. That's what it is today.
I went to bed last night just really excited for this episode, just because I know we're gonna be just talking about Xbox and its 20th anniversary and what it's done for gaming, what it's done for individuals like me, you, everybody else. But Xbox is on that climb again, and I feel like we'll get more into it, but I feel like
Yep.
they're having that renaissance moment again. They're having
Yeah.
that claw back from Xbox One to where
Mm-hmm.
that 360 vibe was. I feel
Oh my
that's where
goodness.
we're at right now. But
It started off slow, had a high moment, started off went slower again, and then on a high moment. I agree. This Xbox is guys, it's been a true roller coaster in the popularity train as far as all the gaming consoles that have been out.
yeah, so if this episode is for everyone, if you've been a diehard Xbox fan since November 15th, 2001, if you were a fan of the 360 days, a fan of the Xbox One days, or you're a brand new person coming into Xbox platform, this episode is for everyone because we'll be talking about everything that, from Xbox original to Xbox Series X to the future of what we think or what we want to see for the brand. But
My
before
God.
we get started, what are we playing, Jesse?
Right now, we are actually playing Forza 5. I actually downloaded that puppy off of Game Pass during the week, and I have been immersing myself in that beautiful, beautiful visual spectacle that is Forza.
Forza
It is,
Horizon 5, right?
yes, Forza Horizon 5, pardon me. So, um, that beautiful spectacle of a game that has been going on right now, like traveling through Mexico, through the different cars that are offered. Of course, I picked the Toyota, the Supra first. Whenever I'm going there, that was just a classic car, that one of the ones I liked from when I was younger, and the a lot of my friends liked it too in the early car days. Um, I didn't drive a lot of cars personally. I wasn't the biggest car guy, but a lot of my friends were. And the thing that I enjoyed about Forza right now, the free forming, it's one of those where you're just traveling around to many, many locations of Mexico. Just you can either just go around, enjoy the beautiful views of how everything looks, like all the weather, all the cityscapes around, and there's so many things to do in this game. Like after you go through the little initial tutorial where you get like where you drive little three different little cars,
Yeah.
um, and then you jump right into the mission mode where you press start and you set your GPS to wherever you want to go. You could either do the races, or you could do delivery missions. Um, this is something great to play on the Xbox the Game Pass right now. Everyone can, if you have Game Pass, but also for any car nut, any car aficionado, this is a beauty of a game. It's reminding me of. I did not play any of the previous games in the past because I'll be honest, I wasn't super into racing games personally. Did love kart racers. I did like arcade style racers, but I didn't get super immersed into like the Gran Turismos or anything like that. But if you are a fan of those type of games, oof, the customizations and the things you can do with your cars here, it's a spectacle to watch all the time. It looks really beautiful. And of course, I picked my nickname to be the Dark Lord.
The Dark Lord.
Okay, Dark Lord, let's go. Then I didn't know when I picked my nickname it was gonna be like they're gonna just call me Dark Lord the whole time through everything. I was like, oh my god, you're just making me sound evil. I'm just going everywhere. But
I like through mine too, and I saw Nightman, and I'm like, you know what? I love It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, so I
mm,
was Nightman, and yeah,
Nightman.
it's always it pops up. All right, Nightman, we're setting you up to the next route. I'm like, oh, okay.
And it's and it's funny because I picked that name of Dark Lord, and you would think like when you hear a name like Dark Lord, you think like menacing like that. But it's like,
Yeah,
okay, Dark Lord, let's go do this. Like, okay, like what?
that's my nickname, Dark
That's my
Lord.
nickname. Don't mess with it. But so far, been playing with Forza. Been playing with Forza around a little bit during the week. Um, I finally completed Horde mode in Doom Eternal. Finally on Nightmare difficulty. My God, that was hard. And that was more difficult. But I got the skins that I wanted. Um, and then I jumped in a little bit on my Conqueror's Bad Fur Day at the same time to try to complete that game.
Okay.
That's my retro game I'm trying to complete. It's one of my few rare platformers that I never completed yet. But I'm just compelled to complete it for some reason. Like one of those games that you just keep
That
jumping
goal.
back in to want to do. It's like I'm just gonna get to the end. Like, and the thing about Conquer is like no big not a whole bunch of collectibles besides cash. So it's not like
It's not
connecting
like
banana
Banjo.
coins. Yeah, not like Banjo. Not like collecting a bunch of, not like collecting honeycombs and jiggies and notes. Like on Conquerors, it's a straight up just all cinematic story the whole way through. Like you're just doing what you need to do. The only collectible you're getting is cash or chocolates to heal up. Um, but yeah, that's what I've been playing right now. So you've been dabbling around the Forza Horizon 5 as well, man.
Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I always have other games, so many games on the side, but I have been putting more time into Forza Horizon 5, and I'm loving it. I mean, I'm like in between. I love the the graphics. Graphics are top notch, amazing, um, and I love the races. But I guess for me in this type of game, I don't particularly enjoy so much of the like. It sounds weird in a racing game, but driving around. Just because I kind of like that aspect of just pick a race and do it. You know,
Yeah.
oh, I want to do a sprint type of race, or I want to do a circuit race, or I want to do off road circuit stuff like that, as opposed to having
Oh.
to drive there. So a lot of the times I'm having to like fast travel. You know,
Okay.
I'm unlocking the fast travel point so that I don't have to pay for it. But that's where I'm at. Love the gameplay, like racing itself. I love it. I love the feature
Mm-hmm.
of the the rewind, which has been there since I think
Yes.
Forza Horizon 3, if I'm not
That
mistaken.
saves you.
Yeah, it saves me
I
a
think
lot of
saves
the
you.
times just like messing up or something, or being too aggressive on a turn and stuff like that. I love that feature in this game. Um, so I love the racing aspect. I love that part.
Mm,
Sometimes it feels weird. You know, I see a billboard that I need to break, and it's like up on some rocks. So I'm like trying to
yeah.
traverse my way through there. But
Yep.
in terms of racing itself, when I'm actually in a race, that's where I love. That's the
There
main
you
point, but not really the open world unlocking stuff.
go.
It's
Okay.
kind of weird, but yeah, I'm enjoying regardless, overall, I feel like it's a great game
Mm,
to play. It's a great addition to Game Pass. Um,
yes.
so and I think it reached like 6 million players already within its first week, which is huge for the platform. So it's good. It deserves that praise. It deserves
Yep.
that recognition of like, hey,
Oh yeah.
look at how many people are actually playing this across so many platforms. So
The developers worked their butt off on this game. Like I was saying before, it looks gorgeous. So yeah, I would say most definitely. The entire aspect of it. So did you like hub worlds and stuff in like other games too, or do you prefer to just go straight to the level?
I prefer going straight to the level, like
Okay.
what we talked about with like our top 10 favorite games and stuff like that. And Need
Yeah.
for Speed Underground 1 was on there and not 2,
Mhm.
because it also did not have like an open world aspect to it. It just
Yeah.
was straight. Hey, I want to do this drag race. I want to do this
Mhm.
sprint or circuit, whatever it may be. I like that aspect of just picking what I want to do. You
For
know,
sure.
it's a difference between enjoying Burnout Paradise
Yeah.
or enjoying Burnout or Need for Speed Takedown or Hot Pursuit,
Mhm.
something like that, where you just pick your points. Oh, I want to do this race. I want to do that race. That's where
Okay.
I come from. So like in the difference, Need for Speed Underground 1 and Need for Speed Underground 2, I'm more Need for Speed 1 just because straight to the point racing.
So
I just want to race.
just get me into what I need to do and just let me go. Like don't make me go to start a race because you're already gonna do a race within the race.
Yeah.
You're gonna well, I don't know. I kind of like the visual spectacle of hub worlds in general. Not just in that game, but in every other game where I think like a hub world is also like an art style. Like I'm just gonna jump into platformers for 2 seconds about like Super Mario 64 where they had like the Peach's Castle and then
Yeah.
they had like Gruntilda's Lair and um, in Banjo Kazooie. I don't know. I like hub worlds. I definitely like them personally myself because I like the level within the level sometimes, and then sometimes there are certain points that you want to go right into the game. But yeah, I think that's just where our differences are right there too. I don't mind hub worlds. I don't
Hmm.
mind the distance sometimes. Only like in Sonic. Only like in Sonic Adventure 1, there was like 3 different hub worlds, and it was kind of hard to distinguish where things were a little bit more in that game compared to other ones. If the hub world is like really like convoluted and it's
Yeah.
way too much, then it's like intrusive. But
But
there's a
see
design aspect.
that's where I kind of like it too. It's weird. Just going off on I kind of like this aspect of the difference between a hub world and just a menu select screen for a level, but kind of the same, not the same. Dark Souls or the Soul series. I don't know if you're
Okay.
familiar with them, but
Mm.
they all pretty much have this area, this hub world area, or I guess town or whatever, and the levels are sectioned off after that. So you start off in this area, and you can just progress
Okay.
whichever way you want. And that's where I like where I know, okay, this is a safe zone. There's no
Yeah.
enemies here. I could
This is right.
relax more easy than other areas, because I know I
Yep.
won't get invaded. I know there's no way. So at least that's like the
Like I'm
place of,
breathing.
of peace and calm. Is that okay?
Okay.
I'm safe here. Uh, just in the hub world, that's where I like. Uh,
Okay.
is in the Souls games, but yeah,
Okay.
it's just different
Mhm.
takes. It's different
Yeah.
preferences. I prefer in
That's
my
true.
racing game just pure racing. I'd rather just
Okay.
race.
I
Yeah.
like I damn maybe that's why I liked Diddy Kong Racing a little more than Mario Kart back in the day. 'Cause remember Diddy Kong Racing had the hub world.
Yeah.
Diddy Kong Racing had the adventure hub, but it also gave it had the hub world. I loved it there too, just to travel around in it. Um, the last little note I'll leave on just to jump back into Forza Horizon 5 just for one final second. Um, it's a great, fantastic racing game, but I hope you love just racing altogether. Because, um, like for me, like I would prefer to do some other things as well, like within the games besides only being in the car. I haven't gotten too far into it, so if there's something else that happens, sorry, I didn't know that something else happens. But at least from like the moments that I'm getting, um, there's only a certain amount of time I can spend in a car and keep racing over and over again. But but still, if it's your type of game, because that could not be my type of game, but it could be your type of game, go for it.
Yeah. I think where we're both at though is the racing is just superb in
Yeah,
Horizon.
they made
Regardless of hub or not, that racing once you get into
mhm,
that race, it's just smooth. It's a smooth
it's good.
gameplay
Oh
experience.
yeah,
Yeah.
most definitely pick this up, buy it or Xbox Game Pass it. It's a sweet experience.
Yeah. So as you guys heard, it is the 20th anniversary of Xbox. This is gonna be just that's our only topic for today is Xbox, but it's a big topic. We're gonna start
The Xbox is 20 years old.
20
Oh
years
my
old,
god,
dude.
I'm old. because I'm just saying that it's 20 years old. Like
Uh,
this is so, my God, the first Xbox came out 20 years ago.
I
Oh
was
my God.
I was in the sixth grade when
Yeah.
the Xbox came out.
Yeah, I was in high school when it came out.
Yeah.
I was just starting freshman year of high school. This was um and then it was right after, well, obviously it was after like 9/11. I'm always going to remember freshman year of high school because it was 2001. So it was
Hmm.
right after that, but um yeah, 2001 is when this came out. 20 freshman year high school. Xbox decide no, excuse me, let me just rephrase that to the company. Microsoft threw their hand into the console gaming wars. They were not just going to be strictly PC anymore. Bill Gates just came out and they wanted to announce Xbox. And everyone's like, "What the heck is an Xbox?" Like when I was thinking Xbox, I thought that was like the weirdest game system name ever. Xbox. Like it
Yeah.
sounded like it sounded strange at the time.
It sounded too millennial. It sounded too
Yeah.
come on, dude. Like, you know how they do like extreme, but it was with an X only. Uh,
Yeah, dude. Xbox, and then I remember I liked wrestling then, so I was thinking about X Pac. Thinking about X
Xbox.
Pac. I was thinking about X Pac the wrestler. Like I was like, Xbox now came out, but then they unveiled this gigantic green and black monster of a machine with
Yeah.
the biggest at the time. It was called, or it was became known as the Duke controller, which is the biggest controller ever, at least to me, for a console.
It's still huge.
Yes, it
I played
is.
it a couple months ago and it's still huge. But I remember it coming out and I was just like, meh. Like I didn't know anything on Xbox or anything like that, so I wasn't keeping up at the time at it. You know, in sixth grade, and so all I knew was, you know, Nintendo and Sega and PlayStation. That's all I knew, and that's all I cared about. I cared about Zelda. I cared about Metal Gear
Mhm.
and Crash, and I didn't know what this box was. I had no idea of any game that came out with it.
It was tough because it's brand new. They're trying to put their first name into the market, and like how you just said, we've already been established with PlayStation. PlayStation 2 was released just the year prior in 2000, I believe. So, and then Sega was up in the there were uh, Dreamcast was sort of mini dying at the
Yeah, they're
time.
already on the down.
It was already on the downturn in 2001, and GameCube was also released in 2001, I believe. So um, it's just the newest player in the market. It's just like Xbox, new. Like what? Who made it? Sony, Nintendo, Sega? None of those. Microsoft. Microsoft is just putting it in. So um, tough sell in the very beginning. I think if I'm not wrong, I think it wasn't a strong seller in the beginning.
At all. I think it sold just as well, if not a little bit better, than GameCube. But GameCube didn't
Oh,
sell
okay.
that well either. So that's why
Well,
it basically, I mean, PlayStation just dominated that gen for everything. But um, even though it didn't sell as well, um,
mm.
it was it had great games.
Oh my God, yeah. It did. It had a lot of fantastic games, and a lot of games became ported to the Xbox as well. Some games from other consoles got ported into Xbox, and Xbox, I believe, is the most was the most powerful at the time of the
Yeah.
three consoles. So usually the definitive or best version of the game came out on the Xbox.
Yeah, it actually had a lot of stuff in there that just we kind of see still today, if not a progression or an improvement. Like it already
Mm-hmm.
came with the hard drive inside. There was a hard drive
Yes,
inside the Xbox. Do you remember how big it was? Was it like,
not off the top of my head.
I want to say
Let me see.
like 5 gigs or 10 gigs? Maybe I'm mistaken, but there
Let's
was a
see.
good amount. of
Oh,
storage.
it was 10 gigs,
10
8 or
gigs.
10.
There you go.
8 or 10. So, and there was also an 8 gig 8 megabyte memory card as well. But yeah, the original one had 8 or 10 gigs of internal hard drive storage.
Which is a
10?
lot in 2001,
Yeah.
2003. 10
To that.
gigs it was massive, but it had that where which you were able to even like download your music to, or install your music in there. It had the hard drive space. It had the capability of going online, which I think is the biggest feature of that console was Xbox Live, of
Yes,
joining
that one.
somebody from across. I mean, other systems did it. Sega Dreamcast did it. PlayStation 2 had it, uh, but not to this scale. Not to this like huge thing about the Xbox. GameCube was, oh yeah, we have a handle, so you can take our our lunchbox anywhere.
They're
PS2.
trying to make it more portable, but it wasn't really that portable. You still had to connect all your cables and everything with it. I was like, okay, thank you for making it easier to carry, but if you remember, it's a cube. I can carry it in one hand.
It's a cube.
It's a cube, man. I got one hand to do this. I could 2 hands if I really need to, but okay, handle's nice. That's why I coined the term the lunchbox. It's
Mhm.
the lunchbox console.
But
Um,
Xbox was on a different I guess trajectory. They kind of foresaw what to do next, and I think it helped because Microsoft was a software company, more with PC, and they kind of already understood that realm. Like PC was kind of already there, so they wanted to do that with the Xbox, and it worked. Xbox to this day I think is the most stable out of all the three console platforms for online, multiplayer and connectivity. They just
God.
they just did a lot of stuff that was just, I guess they may not have been the first, but they certainly did perfect it, or make it better than
Oh my
previous
God.
iterations.
I agree 1000% on that. Xbox Live is still one of the top online services for gaming, I believe. I know like PC has like the free one, whatever, or like other consoles now have their own versions of it, but Xbox Live at the time, of course, people in the past were mentioning about, oh my god, it comes at a cost, like you have to pay more to use Xbox Live, but still, I mean, if they're willing to put the time and effort to make the servers work as best as possible, to make the games work as best as possible, dude, it's worth the service. Because I have played games with laggy connections. It's
Yeah,
unplayable. It's bad. I mean, the PS2 tried to do their own online service, and they did the Ethernet cable, but not many people use it. I think people only play like SOCOM online most of the
SOCOM was
time.
the main one, I think.
So
Yeah, or
SOCOM,
Gran Turismo.
Gran Turismo, like the Mortal Kombat games from that era tried to use that as well, but no one really like hyper used the online from PS2 except for those specific games. But Xbox Live, everyone was playing Halo 2. Halo 2, I believe Halo 2 is when Xbox Live became the most popular, right? Not Halo 1, Halo 2
Yeah,
is
Halo.
when it made it the most popular.
Yeah, Halo 1 was like the foot in the door, and Halo 2 was the one that slammed it down
Yeah.
for Xbox.
My biggest memories with the Xbox, like I never owned one in my house. I had the PS2 at the time, but the LAN parties that we used to do with the Xboxes were some of the best gaming times ever.
Hmm.
With like we would go over to specific friends' house that have multiple rooms. There was somebody in an upstairs. We used to go to my friend's brother-in-law's house that had a upstairs and downstairs. There was people downstairs on one TV and another TV. Each one had an Xbox, split screen 4, and this was like all of this before online play like took off, before online play became like the more dominant one. But I will not forget like the long nights into the night with just Halo all day, and screaming. You could hear the people from across the room screaming like, "I got you!" Like, yeah, like, and then when you hear people get stuck, you hear them from the other side. Like you hear like all the and oh my god, the nights of Halo were just amazing with so much pizza and Pepsi Blue, and I'm gonna say Pepsi Blue here because
Pepsi
I know
Blue.
the friends who drink Pepsi Blue, if they listen to this, they'll know what I'm talking about. Pepsi Blue, Mountain Dew,
I
Doritos,
was
and
more of the Mountain Dew. The what was it? The Live Wire. For anybody who remembers Live
oh
Wire, that was my
yeah,
favorite one.
Live Wire, and like, dude, up late, like for so many nights, just at LAN parties, and that was my most optimum multiplayer experiences. Even a little bit more than online. I love online for what it does to open more people up, but I don't know. It's just something about that co-op camaraderie right there. Even though, and then we were playing in like weird situations because you have a split screen of 4 people there, and then you
Yeah,
always got that one friend screen sniping always, and he knows where you're at. He knows what you're doing every time, and you're looking at her like, bro, you looking at my screen? It's like, no. It's like they always go like, no, no. They disagree, or they
they
don't agree with me
deny
that
they.
they did. They deny it, but then when I see them again and they know exactly where I'm at, like, yeah, not looking at my screen. Yeah, I see that. Gotcha. but um, but yeah, that's my biggest official like best memory with the Xbox that holds me near and dear. So I had a lot of Xbox experience, not at the owner of my own console. Um, and like I said before, a lot of the higher end games came out on the Xbox. So there was usually there like Doom 3 came out on an Xbox version of it because before it used to be on PC, but then the Xbox came out with the first console one,
I have that
which
one.
did
The
pretty good.
Steel
Yeah,
Book.
the Steelbook.
Yeah.
I heard it was pretty good for a port. It was like it was great because the Xbox was still not as powerful as like a high end PC at the time. So it went well. I remember Conker's Bad Fur Day got the Live and Reloaded, the remake. It's not a remake. It's they redesigned it.
Yeah.
So from the ground up with the best graphics. And in that version of Soul Calibur, you got Spawn as your character.
You always bring up Spawn.
Yeah, I'm just saying. He's
No,
just in it.
yeah.
He's in it. He's in it. He's in that game.
Um, for me, I remember the Xbox. Even eighth grade going into ninth grade, I was kind of like the Xbox sucks. I was like this. I don't want to play that big box of whatever, and it wasn't. I worked at. I didn't work, but my mom worked with my aunt at a daycare, uh, with my uncle who I've mentioned before, and he was always whatever he was into, I was into. So he was like, "Oh yeah, let's play Zelda." Okay, that's what I like to play too, Zelda, and he barely had a PS2, so I actually played Metal Gear Solid 2 from him, but for the Xbox, there was some kids that my aunt, took care of, that they would bring their Xbox. They would lug the big Xbox to my aunt's house because they'd be there, the whole day. It'd be a Saturday and they'd be there from 9 a.m. and they'd be picked up by 4 or 5. And I remember still hanging out with my uncle, but I would see them like, hey, what's that? And they're like, oh, it's the Xbox. And I was like, what game is that? And it's like, this is Halo. And I'm like, Halo?
Ooh,
And and
Halo.
I'm like, that looks like it looks weird. And I'm like, why? I'm kind of like getting some Metroid Prime vibes off of it. And they're like, Metroid Prime sucks. And then after that, I was like, Halo sucks. There's some kids, I'm all like, I'm 13, 14. They're like, probably 9. And they're the ones like, Metroid sucks. And so from there, I was like, no, I don't even want to touch that. But then later on, I was like, you know what? Let's try it. Let's see what's up. And I was just amazed by the first level, the music, the Marines, trying to run around the station, the dun 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 dun. Bum, 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 like just the music, and then
Yep.
crash landing onto the Halo for the first time, the Halo ring, and seeing how open it was. I was like, this. I have not played anything like this. This is when I was like, I was looking at my uncle. I'm like, hey Theo, like I don't know. Look at these graphics. These look pretty cool. Look at these aliens. And he was still
Theo,
like,
look.
he was still kind of like a, I don't know, like he was just kind of like whatever with it. So he was never fully sold on it as much as I was. I was like, I felt like I had like a religious overtake. Like I was like, what is this? Well, I want this. This is what I want to play now. And I went through Halo 1 and I loved it. I was like, I need the one. They're like, well, Halo 2 is coming out and stuff like that, and they're gonna, I'm gonna get Halo 2. I'm like, okay, yeah, go get Halo 2. But
Yeah.
that was my first experience with an Xbox. It was first a negative, perception of it still, and then when I actually did play it, I was like, okay, they got something here. It's not just something that may just go away and this is going to be a one off. It was actually good. Unfortunately, I only had a few select games that I did play. Halo was one of them, Halo 1, 2. That was an experience, but I also played the party game because they also had other games. I played a, what's that called? Oh my God, Fusion Frenzy.
Okay.
I don't know if you ever played it, but it's
No.
it's a party game. Basically, just a bunch of mini games. Think of Mario Party, but from Xbox for Xbox the original. I think there's two of them, but I mainly played Fusion Frenzy 1,
Okay.
and I still
The,
have
bo-
it.
the box is all green and everything. I see it. It's like two people like in the steel cages, like the
Yeah,
American Gladiators.
think of just Mario Party, but like just a bunch of mini games for Xbox, and I loved it. That I thought that was like one of the best like party games out there. And then I also played Project Gotham Racing.
Nice.
So those were my first experiences with the original Xbox. I still have mine today to this day, but it did finally go out. It went out last, or actually this January. It finally went out. Um,
Hey.
and I was so sad about that. I was like, man, I've had this so long, and
Nice.
but my fiance has one too, and she's like,
Ooh.
don't worry, I have my own too. And so we basically, hey, here's the replacement. Here's mine now. I'm like, okay, cool. So we still have an Xbox. It's still in the front center of our living room, and
Nice.
I just want that Xbox there because it also like, like you think something negative, you think something like, oh, I don't want to try that, but then like you actually try it out and it's like, okay, you know, not everything green is bad. What, veggies are actually good for you. Xbox is
Yes.
actually good for
Yes.
you. Green is
Come.
good.
Green is fine, guys. Green is good. This is coming from myself. If anyone in the audience, if I said before, I'm also a registered dietitian by trade. Greens are
I
good,
knew you liked that
please.
one.
Greens are good, everybody. Veggies, please include them into your meals. That's gonna be my one nutrition tidbit. Even though wow, that's horrible. I just talked about pizza and Mountain Dew and all that stuff, and now I just switched to veggies. I just talked about that right now. I'm all like, all right, guys, do it in moderation. Don't listen to 13, 14-year-old Jesse at the time. Listen to current Jesse. Current Jesse has the right idea.
Current Jesse would be
But
like, if you want pizza, make sure at least it's like, mushrooms and bell peppers. Add some green
there you
tea.
go.
Add some green to your
Get
bread.
get get yourself get yourself some mushrooms on that pizza. Get some bell peppers. Get something more refreshing on that slice, and keep that drink to a 0-calorie drink if possible. For water, not so much soda. But
Maybe
if you're gonna
Pepsi
have
Zero, I don't know, Pepsi Light, or what is it?
if you have something like that, or have water, or if you're only gonna have soda, keep yourself limited to like one 4 to 8 ounces just for the day. But I'm not here to talk to you guys about nutrition. I'm here to talk to you about video games.
Yes. Oh, and just know I'm
but
drinking water. I'm drinking just water. And
I believe you, man. I believe it. So am I, man. I just had coffee. Let loose a little bit. It's fine to let loose. But you know what, audience, I definitely will throw in nutrition tidbits every once in a while, just in case you want to hear it. I will throw it out there because that's I think it's a big deal as well. It's a big deal with nutrition and video games as well. So yes, green is awesome. Xbox One. I'm sorry, I can't say that because there is an actual console called Xbox One. Original Xbox.
thanks, marketing team.
know, right? Like, dude, really? We'll jump into that a little
We'll get
later,
there. We'll
but
get there. We'll get
we'll
there.
we'll get there. But original Xbox, rocky beginning, but it's one of those, like how you said a moment ago. It's the ultimate letter of don't knock it until you try it.
Exactly.
It's one of those where, like Halo, I'm just using Halo as the biggest example because it basically became the Microsoft or the Xbox like mascot. Officially, unofficially, it's the Xbox mascot. So Halo redefined console shooters at the time. Like
Yeah.
it was huge, and it didn't come out on PC till years later, many years later. So you needed an Xbox to play it.
Even
So
though it
yes,
was like a PC, it was an Apple game first. That's how it started until Microsoft bought the studio and the IP. Um, but yeah, don't knock it until you try it. Don't, you know, if you're new to Xbox, you listen to us and you're mainly a Nintendo guy or PlayStation guy, just open mind, because
yep.
I say that I think a lot of our viewers know I'm a PlayStation guy. I started off Nintendo, and then I just was always PlayStation. But even from a PlayStation guy, Xbox is there. Xbox is bringing it, and without Xbox, we wouldn't have PlayStation where it's at right now, and vice versa.
And Halo 2 was the top selling game for the Xbox original.
I believe it.
Halo 2 was. And then followed by, because I'm just looking it up real quick right now, then it was followed by Halo Combat Evolved, the next Halo, and then Splinter Cell, which I never got into myself, but it was actually one of the top selling ones for the Xbox as well. Fable, Morrowind, GTA 3, and Vice City Double Pack was also a top selling game. Need for Speed Underground 2. And the other game, before we jump into the next one, the other one that was very popular that we'll be able to play soon and in addition later with a remake is Knights of the Old Republic. That was the big Xbox game back then too.
Oh, okay.
That
And
was Knights of the Old Republic was the big Xbox game as well. It was I believe it was an Xbox exclusive at the time.
And speaking about don't knock it until you try it. I've never played a Splinter Cell because I'm a Metal Gear Solid fan, so Splinter Cell sucks. No, just
Man,
kidding.
okay, we're gonna have this all over again. You're gonna come to my house. I'm gonna play Splinter Cell for no reason and be like, "This is awesome. What is that?" And then I'm gonna look at you and be like, "This is Splinter Cell, dude." You're gonna be like, "No," and then you're gonna like spontaneously combust as you said it looked cool. You're gonna be like, "Ah, I
Some
didn't
Raiders
say
of the
that."
Lost Ark.
Uh, because because Snake heard you say that. He's gonna make you do that. But yeah, that was the top selling games for the original Xbox. But let's fast forward a couple years later when all consoles were evolving and next generation. What console came out then, good sir?
That had to have been the Xbox 360.
Oh. Now I give you that voice right now because that is the one that made me the Xbox fan.
The 360. Yeah, I think that's where. Okay, so even for me, like just a small tidbit, I grew out kind of video games. I stopped playing video games for a while because I got to high school and got into some sports and playing basketball and girls and stuff like that, and I just didn't have time to play video games. I didn't really play as much. That was like my gap until I would say senior year. I got a 360. I went to my friend's house and I saw him play. We were hanging out and he was playing Xbox 360, and he had that black one, the Xbox 360 Elite.
Oh,
So it
I
looked
had one of
really
those
cool.
too.
It looked really cool.
Yeah.
I had seen Xbox 360 before, but it was a white version. But I saw the black version. I'm like, hey, what is that? And he's like, that's a 360, but it's the Elite. And
Yep.
he was playing Gears of War. He was playing Gears of War, and he was playing some multiplayer. I'm like, what is this? And he's like, oh, this is Gears of War, dude. You've never heard of it? I'm like, no. What is this again? What is this?
Dude.
And you know,
So good.
he's like, it's my favorite game on the 360 right now, and you know, he went into the single player campaign, and he was like in the night level where it's raining, and I'm like, oh my god, this looks so amazing.
Eat.
I need
Dude.
this. I need this.
I need this. Nice.
And that's when it was, I think, 2008.
Mhm.
2008 is when I got my 360, and it was the first one. It was the first time I ever said next gen about
Mhm.
anything. I saw the 360. I saw Gears of War, and I was like, that's next gen. That I've never seen something like that.
Yeah.
And I got the 360. I picked up Halo 3. I picked up Gears of War.
Ooh.
Um,
So good.
though I think GameStop at the time had buy two get one free. I feel like I got Fable 2 at the time as well. It was either Fable 2 or Prince of Persia. I forgot which one. But oh no, it was Assassin's Creed, I believe. But I was all into Gears. I saw Halo. I'm like, I'll play you right in, you know, in a bit. But Gears of War was my first true next gen experience, and to this day, I still love Gears of War, and that is what got me fully back into Xbox. Was like, okay, I see you PlayStation, I see you $600, I see you Metal Gear Solid 4.
Yep.
I may get you one day, but I really gotta go with here. I gotta go with the 360, and and
Oh.
and yeah, I loved my first experience. I loved that time with the 360, and I feel like that's the golden era of Xbox. You know, if Nintendo's golden era could be called, you know, in my opinion, maybe even you know, Super Nintendo
Mhm.
for all the games it had. This is Xbox's. It's the 360. Well, what was your first experience, or how did you see your first
Oh.
game, or whatever? What was your first game? What was your first experience with it?
Man, our minds are melding right now like crazy because Gears of War was also the one that got me to get this game, this console. Oh my god, the art style, the like everything in Gears was just so. And this is of course like teenage me, like loving every second of it, like like all the like all the locusts are just nuts and there's like freaking oh my god, it's so insane. And this game is what made me fall in love with chainsaws on assault rifles. That was the best feeling on the planet, dude.
One
Like
of
just
my favorite weapons
going
now.
through. Yes, this chainsaws on rifles now had to be like a staple, like on anything. Like it,
Hmm.
like you have your ultimate close quarters weapon, and then you have these grenades that they're just going around like. You have to
Yes,
like throw the grenades like, and it gives you like the arc to
and
throw it.
the
And the active reload is actually a legit feature. I actually do enjoy it. Some people maybe won't like it, but I love it. And
I
then
love it.
like I love like the when you do the active reload, when you get that perfect load,
Yeah,
you get the
you hear that?
you get
Nice.
nice. And Dom and Marcus, all these characters were awesome. And Gears of War was like that was what got me the Xbox 360 again in the first place. Really, it was released in 2005, but Gears came out in 2006. Um, Xbox 360 also started off a little. It had some games like Perfect Dark Zero, which was not like the best Perfect Dark game. It was trying to. This was at the time when Microsoft purchased Rare at a time. They didn't work for Nintendo anymore, like the golden era with Nintendo was, and
Yeah.
Microsoft trying to do their own versions of games. Some okay, like Grabbed by the Ghoulies again for the original Xbox, but for but I got it for Gears, and Halo 3 came out, of course, afterwards. Um, and the other great thing about the Xbox was the Xbox Live Arcade was the
Yes.
thing that I loved the most. Like it was oh my goodness, the collection of games just got added. Number one for indie developers because they were like cheaper games from indie developers, but also so many of my retro games came back with Xbox Live Arcade. And I think PS3 also had their own PlayStation store, of course. It
Yeah.
wasn't like Xbox only did it, but it was a time where like retro gaming was coming back in a digital format instead of having to buy everything. Like That's actually how I first experienced Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Oh,
I
really?
actually bought it. I actually bought it off of there. I remember I didn't have a PlayStation when I was younger,
Oh,
so
that's right.
I didn't play it on PlayStation. So that's how I first like got it to beat it. I played it before, but I got it to beat it on my Xbox 360. And I played Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 again on my 360, and they made an online perfect version where you can play people online. Like you can like that wasn't available when I was a kid. I had the arcades, but now you can play it online. Again, I still prefer meeting in person overall, but
Better
it's
trash
still a
talk
nice
too.
option to have. Yeah, it's what's that?
Better trash talking too,
Yeah,
especially for
better.
fighting games.
Okay, here's one thing I didn't like about Xbox Live. People in my ears when you're playing a shooting game or something. It's like, you're blank blank. I'm not gonna say a bunch of stuff on this show because obviously a lot of stuff would need to be bleeped out.
Yeah.
But my God, that was my first taste of toxic environment of gaming at the time.
And everyone
That
had a
was
headset because they came with headsets.
it came with it, and oh my gosh, the trash talk was real. If you're playing Halo, if you're playing any Call of Duty at the time when it came out, um, I really hope you don't have a sensitive feeling because at the time it was rougher. I hope it's better. I don't super play a ton of games online now, so I don't know how the environment is more like now. But back then it was rough. It was a tough time.
I think it's easier to mute now. I think
Yes,
before,
thank
I
you.
think it was socially acceptable to have your mute, on or whatever because it
Mhm.
kind of fueled it. You didn't have your mic on, and somebody was like, oh, that JBG sucks. Like you have, five kills and 20 deaths. You suck, dude. You suck.
Yeah.
And you're kind of
Oh
like
god.
I want to say something. I'm gonna put on my headset, and so it was just like that. As opposed to now, it's like I go into a lobby, it's already automatically muted. Like I just
Thank
don't.
God.
I just want to. I sometimes even have a podcast on the side, and I'm listening to it
Yes.
while playing, and that's just how it is now. I think, but it's not like before. Before it was just so open. It was just so
God. Unless you actually set up a party system, which is another great thing that Xbox Live
party
had.
system. Yeah.
The party system was the best on Xbox Live. Like you actually invite your friends, and if you're all playing like a match in Halo 3 and stuff, if you're all on the team, you could set it up that way, which ended up being handled a lot better. Um, Played every gear on the 360 days, 1, 2, and 3. I didn't play the one after that. I believe it was called Judgment, the one after that one.
Okay. Yeah.
That was the
I
one
played
after
them
that one.
all. I played
You
them
played
all.
all of them? Yeah,
Yeah.
there's Judgment after that one, but I played 1 through 3 on my 360. I had just a plethora of fighting games on the Xbox Live Arcade. I had a lot of retro shooters. That's where I first experienced, of course, all the Call of Duties: Modern Warfare 1, Modern Warfare 2, um, Modern Warfare 3, I believe, was also on the 360, and that's where I first played Bayonetta. That's where I first played a lot of, and then that's where I also got my retro shooter action there because I played Perfect Dark more often on my 360 than I ever did on my N64 because I never owned it there.
Hmm.
And just the menu and everything was just so great on the 360. That little blades menu that they have,
Yes.
like how everything sets up, that was like a perfect menu experience.
It was so
And then they
quick and
updated,
snappy.
yeah, and then they updated to the other one with like more of like the the characters saying hi and everything. Like,
And it
now they
slowed
just
it down.
made it more convoluted and like, why couldn't it just have the snappier? I know this goes against my hub world talk that I gave a moment ago, but it went differently. Okay, maybe I do sometimes like snappy stuff. Okay, it needs to be done right. All right, so
Oh, so you don't like a hub world in your game console OS? Oh, okay. You just rather want, straight
it's
to the point,
okay.
straight to the point, straight to the point.
Okay, but maybe in the game it's okay to have hub bros. But maybe when I just want to play the dang game, I don't want to. I don't want to look at my. It's not called the me. It's called an avatar in that one. And then there's also like, why don't I want to create an avatar? Why can't I just have my picture like I do? I always had that same skull picture for like the longest time. It was like a black skull with like a cover with like a different like color like background in the back. I remember that one. Um,
My avatar is
but
still Gears of War. My dude is
mhm.
all in his cog armor set. So Like I
And
said, I was Gears of War guy.
Gears of War guy. I'm gonna, dude. Gears of. Hold on. Let me see. Let me see. Let me just see the best-selling games. Best-selling games for
Oh, let me see
360.
before you say it. I think the number one. I want to say Minecraft.
Real? No, it's not.
No.
Not the. It's not the top one. It's
Oh,
not the
okay.
top one.
Then it
It's
has to
not.
it has to be like
There
a
is a
call. No, it has to be GTA 5 or Call of Duty game. It has to be one of those.
Okay. All right. Look. I hope Wikipedia is not wrong because I'm looking at this from Wikipedia.
Wikipedia.
Wikipedia. You know,
Okay,
everyone
we'll go.
everyone looks at Wikipedia. Here we go. The top selling game on the 360 was Connect Adventures.
I hate that list already because oh my
I'm just saying that's what it is. And then guess what game was second? Grand Theft Auto 5. So
god.
all
Yeah.
you people playing Grand Theft Auto 5 right now, this game came out in 2000 and no, okay, the game didn't come out in 2005. It came out in 2013, which was the Xbox 360's final lifespan. It was going to the end. But guess what? This game was powered up. This game was played on the 360, and I guarantee that was the way I played it. I probably can guarantee that's the way how I played Grand Theft Auto 5. It was most likely on the
On
360.
360.
On the 360. Now Minecraft is third actually.
Okay.
Minecraft is actually really popular on was really popping on the
That's what I'm saying.
on it. Yeah, and then Modern Warfare 3 came after that. Oh, all the Black Ops, of course.
Yeah.
Halo 3 only came in at 9 though. That's not chill. I thought Halo would have been better than that.
There you go. Connect Adventures outsells Halo 3, and we
Okay.
never got a sequel.
All right, here we go. I'm going to give my mini spiel on the Connect. I did not like the idea of the motion sensor and all that stuff.
I didn't either.
The menu system was whack to try to select stuff with the. No, don't do your hand motions, dude. Don't. It never worked. I never owned a copy of. There was a Sonic racing game. It was like called Sonic Riders, which I think that's what it was called. That uses the Connect feature. I've never owned it, but I've seen people give reviews on videos with it, and they were showing how difficult it was. And I'm like, I believe you. I 100% believe you because Connect was not that fantastic.
But the best games on those were actually like the dancing ones, like I know
Yeah.
they had Dance Central and Just Dance.
I'll also throw in another one here. I completely just reminded myself. Rock Band and Guitar Hero were some fantastic games on those consoles. Oh, the peripherals are starting to pop up more. Rock Band was the 360. Definitely played Rock Band on that console.
While we're on that for accessories and game control, can we just say that the 360 controller just huge improvement from the Duke controller and ergonomically just correct. The control inputs were correct. This is, I think, when we finally got modern day controls. Like the sprinting, the jumping is A, the shooting is the right trigger, all of that. I mean, PlayStation was still behind on that because their shooting and gameplay stuff and button controls were weird. But the 360, that was like on point. I mean, we still see it today where the Xbox One controller is pretty much the 360 controller.
Yep, it's still here, man.
Yeah.
This is a beautiful gamepad. If Xbox got something like that didn't start off well with the Duke, it didn't start off well with the Duke, but the way they position their sticks and everything afterwards, oh, dude, it just works. Xbox gamepad is fantastic. Like the 360 one was amazing. The 360 one was great. I'm looking at the picture right now. It was a little thinner down the middle. But the style of the controller was forever changed after the 360 came out. When 360 came out, now it became the staple.
Yeah, I mean, we still could see it in the Xbox One, Xbox Series X controllers. It's still there. That skeleton is still there of what makes the Xbox controller so good. But hands down, it was the best controller of that generation for everything, racing. Shooters especially, because that's what dominated and is still dominating today for the genre. But the 360 was, I feel like, the pinnacle for Xbox. It's where Xbox is still striving to be in terms of public perception,
Yep.
game wise, just everything. This is where they revolutionized a lot of the stuff and even improved and outdid themselves from previous gens.
Yep. The only hiccup that the Xbox 360 had back in the days, if everyone
Yeah,
remembers, the red ring of death. That was that was the
I got hit
wow.
with it.
I also got hit with it, and I did like the towel technique. I sent it in and got it fixed. But I actually ended up having two Xbox 360s in my life. I had the original white one, and then I ended up getting the black one, the elite one that you said. And the elite one was awesome. I love that black one.
I
The
actually I actually only had two Xbox 360s. I had the original one, and it
Mhm.
was already starting to get the red ring,
Mhm.
and it was on its last legs because I was already getting hyped for Halo Reach, and I
Yep.
got the Halo Reach console, the Silver Slim Edition, and I traded that one in. I traded my Xbox One or Xbox 360 original white one to GameStop. They gave me full credit. I believe they gave me like $200 store credit towards the Reach, and
Mhm.
I only had two 360s. The Reach I had for years until I sold it because, which we'll be talking about next, is Xbox One got backwards compatibility. And in my mindset at the time, and even now, I'm like, I don't need the 360 if the Xbox One is going to get backwards compatibility, and especially if it
Yeah.
gets the games that I want.
Mhm.
So Xbox 360, pinnacle of Xbox. They had an amazing controller renovation,
Mhm.
while
Yep.
having one of the worst controllers as well with the Kinect. They had
Mhm.
better online service,
Yep.
better online capabilities.
Yep.
The console came with a headset.
Mhm.
They were just pushing online, best for indies as well. They started that indie movement, like, hey,
Yep.
you don't have to make a $60 box. You don't have to make a $40 box CD. You can
Mhm.
just sell your game for $5, $10, whatever it was. Interchangeable hard drives. You can
Yep.
have a different hard drive. So Xbox learned a lot. There was like its peak moment. I think that's when you saw a lot of gamers just modern day. This is what they're gonna be doing. This is their hobby. Yeah, I love
Yep.
Halo. I love Call of Duty. I love these types of games, and they progress to the next generation, which
Yep.
was the Xbox One. Now,
Again, naming is just very off. We just went from 360 and now we went to one. Actually, just a quick tidbit before we go on to the Xbox One. I was just going to mention that I really wish that Xbox won the battle for Blu-ray versus HD DVD because that's when Blu-rays were starting to like pop out. So they decided to go with the HD DVD fixture that didn't sell often, and then you had to get a separate drive. So my only other like negative thing about like the 360. I wish they would have integrated Blu-ray with it, like the PS3 did, its competitor. Um, but no, that's my only thing. I wish it had Blu-ray already from the box, but you try for one. But hey, you can't predict the future, so it happens. Hiccups happen. But yes, Xbox One is now where we finally have a Blu-ray player. So now let's jump into the Xbox One.
which is 2013 Xbox
Yep.
One, and you know what? We'll go in chronological order because I'd rather end off the gen on a good note.
Yep.
Xbox One did not start off that great, um,
Oh my
but
God.
I did have a recent talk with someone online, and they kind of opened it up for me a little bit more for me to see it differently. Xbox One actually had a great first 2 3 years in terms of games. In terms of games offered, you know, we had Dead Rising 3, we had Rise Son of Rome, we had Sunset Overdrive, we had Quantum Break, we just had several exclusives, several, you know, different type of games that appealed to different people, and they did have a good launch window comparatively to the other competitors,
Mm-hmm.
but it was a public perception and what the company wanted to do or what the company thought they wanted to do that jumbled all the good graces that Xbox 360 had. So what do you remember of that colossal mess up, Jesse.
Wow. So the thing that was starting to happen with 2012 and 2013. Some of these started with 2012 in the PC world, where more things are starting to go more online. So now game consoles are starting to go online mode where you have to be online. I believe it's called DRM, where you have to be online to even play the single player. They had to do that for The Sims, and they had to do that for Diablo 3 back in PC, and people were hating that. Reasonably so, because if I want to play something single player, why in goodness sake do I have to why in goodness sake do I have to have my broadband connection up? Why? There's no point to have internet when I want to just play something by myself. And then Xbox made I'm gonna call it a boneheaded move that they wanted to go online only for the games where you have to download your code online for your disc to work in the console. My God, the backlash from that thought alone already started it in a horrible ripple effect for Xbox One. That was a huge stumble misstep.
Yeah.
Even to the point where their competitor PlayStation came in, because I remember at a time where it was like you had to own a copy of the game to be able to play the game, and can your friend borrow it or something? No, not really, because they would have to download it too. And this specific game is coded to you, and you have to use it on your console. So that means you have to bring your console to play that game? Oh my God. And then PlayStation just came in with, like, I'm going to call it the best burn on the planet. This is the best burn I've ever seen in a video game company where they're announcing PS4. It's like, how do you borrow or share games with PlayStation?
And it was like
Step one. Here you go.
Thanks.
Like, oh my God. My heart was feeling that. I was like if I was Xbox, I would be like the dog in the fiery building meme. Like, this is fine. this is fine. I'm good. Oh my God, Xbox One. That was not the best. Of course, they retracted this immediately because they could not survive.
Yeah, I think it was like a week later they took that back. They're like, no, we gotta take it back. And even before in interviews, they're like, it's not like a light switch. We can't, it's not like we can just switch it on and off on the DRM. Yeah. We can't do that. And yet they did that. They legit just flipped the switch.
So that already shows me that you're mini lying at the same time too. Like, yes, you can make this decision to not keep us online the whole time, tracking data or whatnot. I mean, okay, right now I'm gonna say, unfortunately, in today's consoles compared to retro consoles, most of the time you're gonna have to be online to use a lot of features and download updates. The internet's now so
features, yeah.
The main features, like our consoles are now, our world is so ingrained in the internet. If you find me someone, a millennial or a Gen X, who says that they don't need internet for any reason, but that's a lie. Yeah, you do. Everyone needs it at some point, whether it's your cell phone or smartphone or cable internet. But they were trying to ingrain it so hard at the time, they backtracked it.
It was too soon.
It was too soon. Good on them for backtracking. They listened to the fans, because that would have been a huge mistake. But yeah, it was a stumbling party to start it off. But I personally did end up getting an Xbox One for myself as well. The app that sold me to Xbox One was Killer Instinct, was an exclusive.
Oh, okay. Yeah, of course, it had to have been a fighting game that would get you.
The original, like, this is Killer Instinct. There was no Killer Instinct game for many years after Killer Instinct 2. So now when you hear they're gonna remake it and it's gonna be an Xbox exclusive, sold. It already sold me on the Xbox as my console at the time. The Xbox One is also a console that I did love as well for quite a while. Again, with Xbox Live Arcade, but Halo 5. I played Grand Theft Auto again on it. That's actually where I got my huge Diablo 3 love from the Xbox One version, the console version. I got the Reaper of Souls pack with everything.
Yeah,
That's where I actually played Rayman Legends, which was a favorite platformer of
that's a
mine.
great one.
That is a fantastic one on Xbox One. Um, there was just a lot, and the Xbox One, they were really trying to make it. Here's another thing that I kind of felt that it kind of, for me it was okay, but for others it was like whatever. They're trying to make it, they're trying to shine the media service of it a little bit more than the games of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
They're trying to shine like, oh yes, you can get the NFL app, or you can get the music app, or Blu-ray player,
you can
get
plug in your
movies.
cable directly on this HDMI port.
Yeah, and then they're trying to make it the ultimate power media powerhouse.
That all in
Uh,
one Xbox
yes,
One.
Xbox One, like I remember, I actually really did like that I was able to control my TV through the Xbox. I actually did
I
like that it
annoyed
was simultaneously controlled.
I annoyed my cousin with that because I'd be sleeping in the next room and he, I know he has a Connect, which was also a huge miss because you had to buy this Connect that came bundled
Oh
with the
my god,
system that made the
another big
system
mistake. Yep.
$100 more expensive than the competitor. So he had to have it on, and I remember one time he's just watching it, and I'm like, "Connect off" or "Xbox off," and it would be like, "Oh, dude, what? Come on!"
Dude.
And I'm like, "Dude." Just messing
Yeah.
around with him, and it was that I did not like the Connect 2.0. I didn't care if it could see me through digital rays and pinpoint precision and stuff like that. I'm not gonna use this, but I have to have it because it has to stay connected until they did the update. And I was working at GameStop at the time, and I was like, man, wouldn't it be cool if we just not sold it like the Connect, and they would, why doesn't Xbox just do a $500 bundle and like a $400 bundle, and it would save them so much. And then they took them off, they took off the bundles and stuff like that. But yeah, that was a huge miss. Like that, just the perception alone and the decisions they made at the beginning really did make it difficult, and even it difficult today for Xbox to gain any positive traction compared to PlayStation. Like you stated,
Yeah.
that was the biggest burn from any gaming company that I've
Huge.
seen. It eclipsed what Sega did with the whole Nintendo. Sega does with
Yep.
Nintendo, and
Oh
the
man.
Crash Bandicoot, like, hey, Plumber Boy, like going outside of Nintendo headquarters. This was the
Yep.
biggest burn, and that E3 was the nail in the coffin for them for years. The
Yep.
whole like, oh, PlayStation's at $400. You hear the crowd cheering. Oh, PlayStation will not require a instant internet
Online.
connection. Cool, more cheers. You know, we're gonna be able to support used games, so you can give your game away. You can borrow a game from a friend, your neighbors, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
More cheers. It was that type of perception that stayed with the Xbox for a long time. They did have some
Yep.
great ideas. They had that family
Uh-huh.
thing going on, the family plan thing where like
Yeah.
you can connect, game sharing and stuff like that with a cousin or something like that. And that
Mhm.
was a great idea, but they removed that feature or whatever they were going to go with. But that was the dark days. Those were the dark days. The public perception. They did backtrack on a lot of things that they implemented at the
Yeah.
beginning, but those were like the first 3 years. But like I said earlier, they
Mhm.
did present the games. The games were coming. Dead Rising 3 was the first game where I was like, okay, that's what I want to play. That looks really
Mhm.
cool. Seeing all those zombies at once, even though the frame rate was like 20 frames per second,
Mhm.
it was still that eye catching. Like, look at all these zombies, look at all these enemies in one screen.
Yep. It was
Um,
nice. I loved it. I like the because I think because Dead Rising 1 came out on 360 and 2, and then 3 was more because I didn't play 3, but it was like it was the one with the big cityscape around you, right? That
yeah,
was the biggest draw from that one.
yeah,
Yeah. And my other favorite game from the Xbox One era, I love Titanfall. That
Titanfall.
was a favorite FPS. That was the first time. You're shooting around. It actually, I was really good at Titanfall. I loved like the I loved every weapon, all the parkouring on it, and oh my gosh, the Titans were so sweet. Like when you actually get into your Titans and they have the different weapons, like they have like the Magneto, like the Magneto like stopping bullets and stuff and reflect back at it, and then you have this gigantic gun that you can shoot the actual soldiers that are you can actually shoot fellow players there, but you're in a Titan, so the bullets like this big on them. like just get rid of them,
The sound
dude.
behind it, like prepare for Titanfall, and then you hear like the crackling of the sky just going, and your Titan's
And
there.
then
It's only you can use it. Nobody else can steal it from you.
yep,
It was like the perfect kill streak that everyone had.
everyone had the ability to get a Titan at some point. Everyone could. However many kill, and then you can get it from killing characters, and you can get it from killing NPCs. There was a lot of
Yeah.
NPCs around too. You get points for that too, and oh, I just love like when everything's going great in your Titan, but then if it doesn't go great, you have the eject feature where you shoot yourself up if your Titan's already taking too much damage. Get jacked. My God, I spent a lot of time on Titanfall as my Xbox One game. Master Chief Collection came out on Xbox One, but oh my goodness, again, this is like a fumbling point too because it started off with the worst online ever. Like this was definitely a rush of releasing the game before it's ready
I think
because
they're still fixing it, or there's still updates being done to that game just because
uh,
of how
it's
broken it was, and it's just a mess. It was a perfect idea on paper,
yeah.
just not executed as well.
Yes, but that's such a great idea. The first four Halo games all in one package. Like that's the most for $40, $50, $60. That was the best Supremo titles there.
And then they kept
And
adding. They added
yeah,
ODST and Reach.
and Reach. They added everything else. And then they even released Gears of War Ultimate Edition,
I
which
love
is
that.
the updated version of that. Um, um, and then Rise was a very popular one. I never owned it, but Rise was one of the first games that came out. Like the Roman Empire, the graphics were looking beautiful at the time, 2013.
Yeah,
Um,
I also wanted to mention Recore. Recore was another exclusive from for Xbox. The guy who created Mega Man was behind that one. They
okay.
just had so many. Like I said, they after talking, they did have a lot of games on offer that were unique. The Killer Instinct, like you said, Recore, Dead Rising 3, Titanfall, which was
Yep.
exclusive at the time for Xbox. Then they brought in the Master Chief Collection, Rare Replay,
This is
uh,
oh my god, Rare Replay. That's where I got
which
to
you're
play
still
Banjo and
playing,
Perfect Dark. I'm still playing today.
which you're still
Yes.
playing today. Quantum
Yep.
Break,
Dude, Destiny came out on Xbox One.
Destiny came out on Xbox One,
Yep.
Sunset Overdrive, Sea of Thieves, which is one of like the most popular games on Xbox right now.
Still is. And then of course Minecraft. Again, pulling up my list. It's the eighth best-selling game on the Xbox on the Xbox One. Forza Horizon 4 is actually the most popular game that was sold on Xbox One.
Okay.
Forza
Um,
Horizon 4, and then Grand Theft Auto 5, of course.
of
Again, Grand
course.
Theft Auto 5.
And
Black
then
Ops 3.
later on they brought in Ori or the Ori games, Ori Will of the Wisp,
Yep.
Ori and the Blind Forest. They had some other ones. We mentioned Quantum Break before and Sunset Overdrive, all the Forza games and
Assassin's Creed Unity, Cuphead was first. Cuphead was
Cuphead.
an Xbox exclusive at the time. Um, um, oh my God, Cyberpunk 2077 was a release on Xbox One, but don't play
Yeah,
this game on Xbox One or PS4. Don't play that game on
but
those consoles.
the Xbox One it's weird. It has I want to say it almost has like a split generation,
Yeah.
where they did a lot of bad decisions for the brand's image, 2013 through 2016, 2017. 2017 is when I started seeing them come back to, hey, let's bring it back, let's dial it back. Let's see what we can do for gaming and better gaming. That's when they brought out the Xbox One S.
There you go.
4K
The smaller one, the 4K capable one, right?
4K Blu-ray drive for movies, slimmer Xbox console. It looks so beautiful. I had the Gears of War 4 Xbox One
Nice.
S. They started coming out with I feel like better games in a way, but they brought in Game Pass. That's when Game Pass was starting to take into fruition. Where hey, this is what we're going to be doing. Backwards compatibility
Yep.
became even bigger. Um,
A
they
lot of
just
my a lot of my arcade game, or just to go back to the backtracking, a lot of my Xbox arcade games ended up being playable on the Xbox One, so that
because
was
of the
good. And
backwards
a lot of 360.
compatibility.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like the first 3 4 years was just rough, and it seemed like nobody cared. Nobody. It was like the super dark days of Xbox, and even to the point where I believe that they were gonna Microsoft was gonna terminate it. They were gonna like, hey, it's kind of dead in the water now. But for those who may not be too familiar with the gaming industry, Phil Spencer, head of Xbox, came in and presented his plan. Like, hey, I can bring this back. Don't kill it. This is where I'm at. If I don't do it, then yeah, go for it. But let me let me take the
He,
reins, and he did. He
he took the helms of all that. He said like, "Hey, like I'm gonna fix this. I'm gonna make it happen."
So Xbox One for me was a mid. It was more like I got really into it around 2017. That's when I
Okay.
started becoming more back into the Xbox ecosystem. Okay, yeah, I'll play Gears of War 4. I'll play that one.
Mm,
Okay, I'll play Sunset Overdrive or whatever games that
there
they
we go.
were coming out with. So they were still in that mix of what are we, what's our identity, and how do we save this brand from
Mm.
it. How'd you
If
feel towards the end?
Actually, you had that really interesting story where you had like the pause in gaming for a second when you were talking about your Xbox, when you were jumping into the Xbox 360, going back into Gears. I actually, again, our minds are just like melding right now. I had a similar experience during the Xbox One era because there was like a time where I got really busy at that time as well, and I didn't play the games as often. Like I didn't play my Killer Instinct, or I didn't play Call of Duty. Ghost was my first game I owned on the Xbox One. But there was a moment that I kind of stopped gaming as well. I don't know. Something just happened where I have no idea why it happens. Like you know you love gaming in your heart because you have your controller in your heart where it is. Like there's
Yeah,
your heart's probably shaped like a controller too because you know when you are like you know who you are. But like at the time I don't know, I was just getting more into sports and college was getting like busier and um I ended up giving my Xbox One to my nephew. I always usually handed down my consoles to like family members who wanted it and they wanted to play as well. And um, like that was a moment where I like paused gaming for like a little while during the Xbox One era. So um, maybe I could say a little something about the console itself, or maybe it just didn't help. Maybe it just didn't hold me for whatever reason, or maybe I was just wasn't into gaming that much at the time anymore. I don't know. It just happens to everyone. I think
yeah,
where you're kind of like you take it as a pause and you think maybe I'm really not much. So then, but then like as I gave it, and then just like I think it was like a year and a half later or something, or right before 2016, um, I jumped back into gaming again, and I got a PS4 because I know you're gonna say another fighting game, but guess what? Street Fighter V was the exclusive at the time for PS4, so
of course.
PS4. So I got it for that in the beginning, and that just rekindled my gaming forever. And that's when I kind of just realized heck yeah, I'm a gamer forever. I love gaming. Even if, no matter what little time I spend in it, I'm still a gamer forever, no matter how many hours, if I can, when I spend it. If you like to play a video game, you're a gamer. That's it. Like, just, like, that's, there's no, like, you don't have to have a prestige of, like, oh, I've played blank amount of hours of this or blank amount of this. If you have a love for the aspect of it, that's you. You're, like, I'm inclusive with that. Like, you're one of us. You play. Um, so I had that pause where I thought I wasn't because I wasn't playing as much, but then um, I just couldn't get away from it that often. But this happened during the Xbox One era, which I kind of I gave it away and I missed it because sometimes I would go to my sister's house where my
Yeah.
nephew lives in. I would play some of this. I would want to play his Rare Replay again. I would want to play that stuff again because I miss it. So I would go over and I would play a little bit. He ended up. My nephew really loved Rainbow Six Siege. He played that a lot with his
Okay.
friends online, and he was really into the shooters as well. My nephew was really into the Assassin's Creed series. That's the one he loved on it. So we both got to experience the love of my Xbox One. But that's why actually your story earlier kind of touched me a little bit because I was like, wow, it wasn't just me that had like a moment that I thought it was just me that had a moment that just stopped gaming for whatever reason. It's like, nah, I think it happens to everyone. Everyone has like
Yeah.
that life wall that hits you sometimes. Um, but I'm glad that you shared that story earlier, man. That was actually really good. And
Yeah, I think it
um,
happens.
yeah, and then now I'm just, in your heart when you get older. I'll tell this for all the young viewers, like you're getting to know yourself a lot during the 20s. If you're in your 20s or if you're teens, you're getting to know yourself. In the 30s, a lot of the time, you definitely realize what you like, and
Yeah.
you absolutely know what you like, and you just stick to it, and you just go with your passions. The sooner that you can figure it out, I feel the better it will be for anybody.
Yeah, like something
Um,
more modern. Just I was like, you know what? I see a lot of hate and for Call of Duty, and I think to myself, I'm like, yeah, that sucks, or yeah, it's the same and stuff like that. But then I realized, I'm like, I kind of like knowing what I'm gonna get in terms of a Call of Duty. I expect an okay story. I don't think they're that great anymore, but they do have some production value in the single player portion. It's very just Michael Bay esque
yep.
storylines with explosions and trains blowing up and high octane all the time. But that's there. Zombies is there. Multiplayer. I'm like I'm in my 30s now. Just I sometimes can go into like a game and I'm like, okay, this is my single player game. This is what I like
Yep.
to play. I'm gonna get invested into the story, the characters, the villains, and stuff like that. But then afterwards, I'm kind of like, I just worked, 50 hours this week. I kind of just want to play a match of Call of Duty. I kind of just want to, oh yeah, domination, yeah, cool. Pew pew
Yep.
pew, die, respawn. Pew pew pew, die, respawn. Pew pew pew.
Pew
You
pew pew.
know, it's stuff like that, and it's that's where I'm gonna get, and I think that's where to circle back with Forza. I think that's where my mentality is like. I just want to get into the racing. Let me
Yeah,
get into
yeah.
the racing and play the main portion because I have this amount of time to play tonight. And I
Yep.
kind of want to be. I'd rather say, yeah, I had 10 races as opposed to I had 2 races
Hmm.
throughout the night. And yeah, you like you said, you know what you like by then.
Yep.
You know
You know
what
what you
you.
like by then.
Yeah, you don't want to spend your time on something like, oh, okay, I'm not really gonna enjoy this or whatever like that. Like me, I give a game, I play an hour. I'm like, I didn't like it. I'm not gonna spend
Yeah.
more. Or
Yeah.
first hour, damn, this is really good. I'm gonna
You'll know
keep
what
playing.
strikes you.
Yeah,
Yeah. You'll know what strikes you because you will lose sometimes track of time if you're into it. You're like, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. You wanna keep this, keep that.
yeah. So again, a lot of people that are on social media and a lot of younger people or even our age, like people are you're gonna love something, someone's not gonna like it. Okay, move on.
Move on.
It,
Dude, if you love
maybe
what you
see
love.
yeah maybe see in the middle like okay I could see like what you and me did with the open world the hub and like yeah you have your preference I have mine but we still meet in the middle and say hey you know what Forza still looks amazing Forza still plays
Yeah.
well and just nitpicking but that's where we're at and just play what you love. You'll love
There you go.
if you love playing Call of Duty and everybody hates it, you love it.
Oh yeah.
I love playing
Dude. Dude.
I love playing Fortnite because my niece plays it and that was her first game that she started. She just turned 9. It's actually her birthday today, and
Oh, nice. Happy
she
birthday.
I'll let her know. But
I'll let her know I said that.
she's 9 and she has her Switch and and she has her little headset and everything, and she'll see me go on, and she'll be like, oh, Theo, can you want to play? And I'll play with her, and that's where I'm at. Where it's like, yeah, I see the hate of like, oh, it's Fortnite. Let's end this. Like, come on, like this is a dead series. But you know what? We all got into gaming at different times, and
Yep.
I'm now gonna be 32 next month, and my niece just turned 9, and I'm so happy that I can connect with her one way or another. I didn't know whether I was gonna connect with her in sports or movies or whatever she wanted to do, but she loves Fortnite, and
Nice.
and when I play with her, I'm kind of like, okay, you
There
lead.
you go.
I'll follow
There you
you. I'll protect you. I'll defend you. Whatever you need. And it's great. She loves having me around because I have a Venom suit. I have the Venom
go.
costume on, and she loves
Nice.
like the bigger dude. Like I'm kind of like Bioshock. I'm the big daddy, and she's
You the
the
big
little
daddy?
sister. Yeah. But
Nice.
yeah, just play what you love because you'll see a lot of hate. But you know what? If you love playing Fortnite, go for it. You
Go
love
for it.
playing Halo. You love playing Call of Duty. You love playing
Go for
even
it.
the super niche games.
Go for it.
Go for it. But most likely, you will find somebody else who loves the same thing, and you'll connect, and whatever.
Easy.
You get a friend or a co-op partner. It happens.
You're definitely not alone in what you like. There is definitely at least one or two or three or four hundreds of people that like exactly what you're liking. So again, this doesn't mean don't try new things. Always try new things,
Yeah.
but like when you're feeling it, if you're feeling it, great. If you're not, if you want to give it a little bit of time, okay. But if you're not, ain't nothing wrong with not feeling the game right now. It's not for you at the time. Go with something that you're more familiar with. Ask friends for suggestions. Hey, I love Call of Duty. Oh, okay. Well, I could offer you the Call of Duty. I could also suggest these because they're similar, and then maybe they'll like something similar. Um, but yeah, game what you like to game all the time, and uh, don't let naysayers or anything about any comments about any game that you're playing. Don't let any uh, move you out of a game just because they say it's bad. Hey man, you know what? You had a bad experience with the game. I loved it. I still loved it. So, I mean, yeah, everyone can have their opinions on it, but don't let the opinions sway you out of your personal you of what you love to do.
Yeah. Well,
There you go. A little
continue. Yeah, a little
a,
different.
a,
Heart to
a
heart.
little a little different of a heart to heart because you brought back the I just love my gaming again and I came back to gaming, so that's why I just love a little heart to heart moment. But that is my story so far with the Xbox One. Again, Forza Horizon 4 was the top selling game, followed by Grand Theft Auto 5, followed by Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Oh, excuse me. PUBG was third, and
Okay.
then Call of Duty Black Ops 3, Halo 5. Halo 5 was fifth. Perfect number to go with it. Halo 5 was fifth. Um, and this time Minecraft went down to eighth. But
Okay.
yeah, Xbox One still unfortunately did not carry as popular as the PS4,
No.
but still relevant in the console world. It did not go away, but
And
things would change.
yeah, so like we discussed the last years of Xbox One, with Phil Spencer coming in and basically turning everything around, maybe doing a 180 from the 360 days. He brought in Xbox One X, which was touted as 4K capable graphics and
Yeah,
stuff like that, and better performance wise. But the new consoles, which are now current gen,
this is
with
the current gen of Xbox.
the Xbox Series X as well as the Xbox Series S, two different consoles doing, I guess, similar needs, similar gaming, but depending
Mm-hmm.
on the audience that is getting it. The Series S, which is at $300, a little small box basically that
Very small.
can has a lot of the capabilities that the Series X does in terms of the memory and the speed of data that
Mm-hmm.
it reads, but no disk drive, so it's all digital,
Yep.
which helps with the $300 price tag, and it's not as powerful, but it's just as fast as the Series
Yes.
X. So that's basically, it's just as fast but not as powerful, and it's super small, it's super tiny,
Yeah.
and there's no disk drive. So if you're going into the Series S, know that no backward compatibility in terms of physical discs, and
Yeah.
then no physical disc at
Nope.
all. And then the
None.
Series X, which has the 4K capability,
Yep.
better.
4K 60 FPS.
Yes,
Yeah,
more
yeah,
more of
yeah.
that, more options for that, up to 120 frames per second. I
Mm-hmm.
believe the Series S does have that, but I don't think not as much as the Series X.
Yeah.
And also the storage is more than the Series S. The
One
storage,
512 on the Series S,
okay, gigabytes.
1 terabyte of on the Series
So
X.
practically double the size of the
Double
Series
that.
S. So
Yeah.
um, what's your thought? So you just got your Series X what, a month
Yes.
ago, 2 months ago?
Yes. It was I believe it was in September.
Okay.
Oh no, I believe it was in September. It's the most, oh man, I have to go back in time with my dates, but it's the most recent console that I have right now. Very, very brand new. Um, First and foremost, no lie, I was really glad I was able to play Rare Replay again.
The
I know, I actually just took that cousin from my nephew. I was like, I'm borrowing this because I'm all
most
like,
powerful console,
console.
brand new console. I'm gonna
Yes,
play these 20-year-old games,
yes, yes, yes. That's
and that's
me. That's me.
completely fine.
Yes, that's me. Now, of course, now all the games that are coming out, I'm definitely Forza Horizon 5 and Resident Evil 8. I'm definitely jumping into those more often with it. I downloaded Doom Eternal again on it, and Game Pass. My bundle came with the Xbox Game Pass for 2 years. Um, so right now, with the Series X, I bought that. I bought the Series X because I personally am a fan of physical media still. I still have a lot of Blu-rays
Mm.
that I still can play, and I am going to be a fan of disc drives forever because this is my first. I always want to have a disc drive with me at the house. So
Likewise.
yeah, I don't want to have to buy a separate 4K player if I want to. And now I know physical media is sort of like on the dying end right now, especially on movies and music releases. Physical media is kind of taking a little bit more of a downturn compared to before because most things are now streaming: Netflix, HBO, Spotify, Pandora. Streaming is going to be the absolute future, and I feel this is going to happen for games. It's going to become a niche thing to collect physical a couple years down the line. Not right now, not this second. I prefer things physical still, but I know that the physical is soon going to become the collector's item. I feel like everything's going to be
Yeah,
released on limited run games in the future. Pretty soon, limited run games is going to
I love
be
limited run.
limited, right? Um, and I see the benefits of I see the benefits of streaming the games or downloading the games as opposed to like owning it. Yes, save house space, use space on your because and nowadays sometimes even having the game on the disc doesn't even matter because they have to still download it into the Xbox. So you're still gonna download a file. You're still gonna download a patch or a file that's like a couple gigs, regardless if you have the physical or not. It's not like back then where just the cartridge just slams in and you're good. Um, but me personally, I still want the drive wherever I'm at. I'm still gonna get physical games whenever it is possible. But right now with my Series X, this is the pinnacle of my gaming console right now. Quick resume is the best invention on the dang planet. That is that I'm going to say that right now so far. In gaming, that is so beautiful because I've never had it where I could switch from Killer Instinct over to Conquers, over to Perfect Dark, over to here, and not lose a single step of whatever game I'm in. I didn't have to reboot back to the main menu and then back in. No, it's like right there. And this is my first experience of that. I believe PS5 has like a version of this. I think you said before. PS5 has somewhat of a version of this, or is it still mostly just an Xbox thing?
It's very basic. It's very like only one game and like other media like apps
Oh,
like if I wanted to switch over from like playing Demon Souls to Netflix, it kind of has that, but it
oh,
doesn't have like, hey, if I want to switch over to Demon Souls and then to Ratchet and Clank and to,
uh,
Spider Man. No, it still has to load initially. The game
aha!
you can't.
Plus
Yeah,
plus one Xbox right there. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna give 1 point to Xbox Series X there, and um, right now I'm enjoying the full throttle of Game Pass because there's so many out there. I know one's going away soon at the time of this recording. Final Fantasy VIII is going away, remastered, like
yeah,
Final Fantasy VII remastered. You could play the original in its peak and the remastered state. It's the original. It's not the remake. It's like the original.
yeah,
Um, and Game Pass goes really well along with my PC as well. I actually have access to PC stuff with Game Pass. There's a lot. I get to play the original Fallout, the first one on PC as part of Game Pass because of the Bethesda merger.
yeah.
Um, Solid state drives for consoles rock. It's now all these consoles have solid state drives in this gen. It's amazing. Of course, I don't have a ton of memories with this console yet because I'm making the memories as we speak. But as powerful as this console is, I love this baby. It's my favorite console uh, right now. And then the Switch, it made me put my PS4 away. Like I don't use that no more right now, unless I have to play a specific game. It's only on there.
Yeah.
But Xbox Series X, um, and right now, if I'm correct, Xbox Game Pass is way better than PlayStation Now. Because I remember PlayStation Now was not great. I tried it on the PS4. No, and I don't know how it is on PS5. I don't own a PS5, but
I haven't been subscribed to PS Now
you
at
haven't been,
all,
you
just
haven't been
because of
subscribed.
Game Pass is that better of a deal.
Yeah, it just is, and um, for my Xbox Series X, right now it's amazing. It's my 4K. It's my 4K player. It's my media service. It's gonna have everything. I'm gonna play music off of it, and whenever I get my future 4K TV, smart TV. Well, now I have to make sure I have to get the right refresh rate for my TV too, because I want the full throttle experience. Um, the only thing that sucks really bad is the external storage is so expensive
Yeah,
on
it's
a
like
on an Xbox Series X.
220 to 250, I think, for the
Yeah,
one
it
terabyte
almost
like expanded storage.
it almost gets to the point where you got to buy a second console for goodness sake. Like you might as well just get
Yeah,
another console with it.
they do have those options coming in, the 500 gigabyte and
Okay.
the 2 terabyte. But I know the 2 terabyte is like $500 or something like that.
Ooh, that's another Xbox One. That's
Yeah,
another Series X right there. Like it's I mean, yeah. Besides that, Xbox Series X right now, I'm enjoying it a heck of a lot, and I definitely see the resurgence. PS5 still sort of winning right now in a bit because um, Xbox Series X hasn't had a huge um, great lineup of games that have come up exclusively just yet.
yeah.
Halo Infinite's gonna change this when that comes out. That's
Well,
gonna be a
Forza's
game
already
changer.
changing it. Yeah.
Forza. Yeah, you're right. Excuse me. You're right. Forza has changed it, but Halo 5 is gonna come in and make that big jump.
Yeah, Forza is definitely the first game. I mean, it took it almost a year for Xbox to have that killer game. Like, hey,
Mm.
you really want to play this on a Series X console? I mean,
Mm.
good on the devs. They are able to put Forza and playable on even the 2013 Xbox One original. But
Mm.
uh, Forza is really the starting point. This is where Xbox really starts revving everything up. Like, hey, this is how far we've gotten
Mm.
without a major exclusive game. They've launched Psychonauts 2,
Mm.
multi-platform game.
Of
They've
course.
launched Flight Simulator, but that came out last year on
Mm.
PC, so it wasn't relatively new. They've had
Mm.
other games like The Ascent drop also on Xbox.
Mhm.
and more recently too, Age of Empires, but that's also a PC only game.
Yeah.
But Forza really is that first game where it's like, hey, it's Xbox, you know.
Xbox straight up. Like this is from Xbox, only Xbox. Microsoft period. It's
Yeah,
only
micro.
it
Yeah,
is it is it is it is it is on PC as well, I believe, but it's on PC and Xbox, but this is like a Microsoft. Like yeah, it's
yeah. This is
you ain't
this
gonna
is
get this on PS5.
yeah. This is one of those like you're not a PC player. You're a console player. This is why you want an Xbox. This is why you
Yep.
need an Xbox. Basically, it's the 1-2 punch for the holiday season. They're doing
Mm-hmm.
Forza, and they're going to be pushing out Halo for next month,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's just it's a good time. It's a good time for Xbox. I see nothing negative, which is always awesome to see a company like a gaming company just
Mm-hmm.
firing on all cylinders. There's nothing
Yeah.
negative I really can say about Xbox in terms
Mm-hmm.
of anything. Their marketing, it's up there already. You know, controller, it's the same as last
Yep.
gen, but it's a good controller. I kind of don't like how clicky it sounds. If
Mm-hmm.
that makes sense, like I have
Yeah.
it right here, but like I just don't.
Yeah.
It's just a preference of mine. Their online service still great. Game
Phenomenal.
Pass is amazing and untouched
Yep.
by anything else. So they're really, and then they have the two system plan where you can do a $300 console for still continue to play the next gen games, but not as beautiful or whatever. But then they
Mm-hmm.
also have the Series X for like the $500. I'm really into gaming. I want to see the best possible fidelity on these Xbox games.
Yep.
And then just like what you had, you something that's not even talked about much, but I got the same plan as you did.
Mm-hmm.
What's it called?
The Xbox All Access.
Yes, the All
Yep. That.
Access.
There you go.
Basically, I paid $32 a month. I paid thirty-two
Yep.
dollars a month, and I got the Xbox Series X day one with 2 years of Game Pass, and you basically don't pay anything extra. It's just
Nope.
$32 a month, and I already have my console. I didn't have to fork over, $900 in one time. It's just
Yep.
that's how I was able to get both consoles
It's
and enjoy
affordable.
it.
It's affordable at all areas. You can pay it however you want. No interest. Okay, going like financial news for everyone younger. If it says no interest for the first year, pay it off. Pay
Yeah,
it off immediately. Make those monthly payments because it's a helpful moment. But be sure to make those payments because this is free time. This is the time. It's not free, but it's a time to save yourself because I'll tell you, don't get into credit card debt. Don't
but
get into credit
yeah,
card debt.
and
Like,
that's great, and
mhm.
no interest. And then we got a backward compatibility, and not only backward
Mhm.
compatibility, but we also got improvements because some games are improved with 4K resolution, because I know they did that for Halo 3. You can play
Mhm.
that on the 360 version in 4K. You have the frames per second boost, like
Mhm.
Fallout 4 has 60 frames per second now. Uh, and not only that, to go on top of that, they also have smart delivery. If you buy an Xbox One game and it has the next gen version, you can upgrade for free, and it's upgraded like that. Just there you go. It gives you the option. Hey, you're about to download Forza. Do you want the Series X version? Okay, you download the Series X version. It's that easy. Uh,
What? Not no $10 increase? Like who will not be named?
Yeah, so they're doing just a lot of great things, a lot of consumer friendly things. The way I've had Xbox Series X since day one, and I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed the
Same.
the games that they offer, even to the point where I'm a PlayStation guy, but sometimes I'll look at a game like, let's say as an example, Dying Light. I'll look at it, I'm like, if I'm gonna play Dying Light, I'm gonna play on the Xbox because that has 60
Mhm.
frames per second now.
Nice.
Hey, if I'm gonna play Fallout 4, yeah, I'll play it on the Xbox because that
Mhm.
has 60 frames per second now, and it's just a better experience
Dude, I get to
overall.
play the whole. I get to play the whole Dead Space series because it's all on Game Pass.
There you go. The
There you
whole
go.
entire Dead
The
Space
whole series is
trilogy
on
on
there.
there.
Yep. The series is on there. The Bethesda lineup is now there. Play Skyrim if you want to play Skyrim. It's um, and I love the update, and I love how Xbox is again, like how you said, they're doing a lot of good things for quality of life in general. They're improving. They're working their way up. They're saving themselves from the original Xbox One. This is why we were mentioning earlier about the roller coaster, that it started off kind of low with Xbox, went on a high with Xbox 360. Um, then it hit a low point with Xbox One, but now the Series X, I feel it's gonna turn around and gonna start going up and up, especially now with the more exclusives coming out. Um, I think it's going to be on a turn for an upgrade, and I'm taking that from me owning the current Xbox right now. I love it, and I ain't giving this out of here. I wish I just would have waited a little bit because I heard that Gucci one came out for $10,000. Should have bought the Gucci one with a bag. Oh man, see, I missed out, dude. Why did I get this plan?
Came with the bag, dude.
I know, man. It came with those custom controllers, and everything. My God, how hard did I laugh? How hard did I laugh when I saw the Gucci one? I posted it on Twitter and everything. I didn't even know the price of it at the time, and then I looked up articles later. $10,000. Hey man, if you love Gucci, and then that new movie's coming out, so that's why they're promoting it. It's like House of Gucci's coming out, which is another movie I want to see. But hey, Xbox, Gucci combined, Gucci. Hey,
So
why not? If you love it, you love it.
they're in a great spot. They're
Yes,
in
they are.
the best spot that they can be since the 360 days, and I was worried, worried in the sense of having another 3 4 years of 2013 all over again.
I would say one small knock on the Series X that people have at least mentioned. I
Mm-hmm.
don't believe it. A lot of people were just saying it's, besides like some of the games that were upscaled now to the better resolution, better frame rate. I guess some people were kind of upset because it kind of doesn't feel like an upgrade. It kind of feels too similar to the Xbox One, like menu
To
wise and stuff like that,
to well, I
to the
mean,
original Xbox One.
to
Is that what
those
they said, right?
people, they're probably the ones that like hub worlds and don't
Hey,
like
wait a
playing the
minute.
games.
Hey, really? I'm just saying what
I'm
they
just,
said. Hey, I love this console. I love this console. All right, I
I'm
like
just kidding. I'm just kidding. The menu,
it.
the OS is the hub world of the games. No.
Yes, there it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it
Like
is. It's a sub world.
it's 1080p. It's 4K. It's whatever. I just click on the games, and for those who say, oh, it's very similar to the Xbox One. Okay, put an Xbox One, hook up an Xbox One,
Yep.
play Gears of War 5.
Uh huh.
Then hook up a Series X and play Gears of War 5, and then come back to me
Yep.
and let me
Come
know.
come come back to me after you go back to your spinning disk hard drive for a little while. Come back to me a little later when my game has been loaded up. Oh, you know what? I want to play another game. Let me switch over to Halo 5 off of Gears. Oh, I have to get out of here. I have to go to the menu. I have to restart. And he's like, "What are you talking about? I just beat the first level already." Like
Yeah,
it's that fast.
it's a game changer. It's huge.
Yeah.
It's not an Xbox One at all. It's a huge improvement uh, to the platform itself. So it's just an expansion. It's just an extension of what the platform needs to be or wants to be. And I see it. I see it now, and it's a great console itself. I really have nothing to knock it down. I even prefer to a certain extent the OS over the PlayStation 5, just because I could see so many of my games. I can customize what I want to see. I have my preferences. I have the tabs, so I have my Xbox games, like the main ones, like the Series X games. So I'll have like games like Gears 5 or Forza already showing off. But then on the next tab, I have my 360 and OG games. I
Okay.
have Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker showing off. I have
Nice.
Gears of War 3, stuff like that. So I like that customized OS of it. But for me, future's looking bright for Xbox.
Yes, definitely.
It's the 20th anniversary.
20 years.
They've done so much in 20 years within what is it, four platforms, four consoles. Four console
four main consoles, a bunch of little sub consoles released like in
Yeah.
between within them, but the four primary consoles that came out. Now Xbox is no longer a weird name. Now it's a known name. Now it's like the Xbox. Get the Xbox on. Like now we know that Xbox is it's a legitimate it's the legitimate beautiful gaming console. Now it's become like Xbox and PlayStation have become the two hyper competitors. Nintendo is still a competitor in there, but Nintendo has kind of it's still very popular. But if we're comparing the three, because Nintendo usually had consoles like a little less powered compared to their PlayStation and Xbox brethren. Like the Switch is not as powerful as those two. So the Switch kind of came in there. The Nintendo fans love the Switch and Nintendo, period. And Nintendo's known for their very, very exclusives. But now PlayStation and Xbox are always the head battlers. They're always the ones combating for that top spot. Yeah. So that's a lot in 20 years, man. That's amazing. Microsoft, kudos to you. You guys made a heck of a console. Ups and downs, whatever you had. You made a heck of a console starter that changed the landscape for the future. And you made one of the best online experiences ever on consoles, period. That's an Xbox thing. They did that.
Yeah. So thank you, Microsoft. Thank you, Xbox and Phil Spencer, mainly, just for turning things around, making it a console, a platform, reminiscent of the 360 days of just we're here for games and we're here for gamers, and that's what we're here for, and that's what a lot of people want to see, and I want to see the best competition for PlayStation, because PlayStation thrives on that. They can't be the best without competition, and likewise with Xbox, they can't be the best without the competition. So they both
competition fuels creativity. You're right, dude.
Yeah. With that though, we do want to start our giveaway.
Yes.
Thank you for staying to this point. We did have a giveaway starting last week on our Twitter handle, BossKey_podcast, where you just retweet, share your favorite game from Xbox or memory, and with the hashtag. Right now, I'm going to also be recording so that you guys can see live. I'll post it later. But let me see. I'm going to share my screen with you, Jesse. All right. So I'm going to start recording in a bit, but at least you guys can see the winner that we'll be using. We're using a random generator, but let me see. So I'm going to start the video. I'll post this later on too. I'll post this on Twitter so that you guys can see that we did just choose a random person. And okay, so I'm recording, and let's see who we get.
The winner is
Martin X Gears. Martin X Gears.
Martin X Gears
is the Twitter handle that won the $60 gift card for Xbox Live. Congratulations, Martin X Gears.
Martin X Gears.
I'll be posting this later on after the show. So yeah, Martin X Gears is the winning person for the $60 giveaway. Thank you so much for everybody who submitted their submissions and stuff like that. I'm trying to transition. It's so weird. All right, back on.
There you
go. Yeah, so DM me as soon as you listen to the show. DM me so that you can claim your $60 prize. I'm trying to look up his submission right now. So
all right.
That
let's see. I'm gonna put it on my computer too. Let's see. Let us see. Poke tweets. There we go.
Let me know if you have it. I'm trying to
Okay,
find it.
we'll
But
do.
since
Bear with us, folks.
this is random. I wouldn't be able to have it up, you know, so
bear, bear,
close.
bear with us, folks. We're
Oh, I found it.
making it. We found it. All right.
Yeah. So his tweet was, "Lost Odyssey is still one of the best Xbox games, underrated and off the radar of many people, unfortunately." And I
Wow.
gotta agree with him.
Okay.
I gotta agree with him only because one, I still haven't played it, but
Mm-hmm.
I own it and I know what it is. It's like a JRPG game,
Mm-hmm.
but I've heard nothing but great stuff of it. I got it on a
Wow.
sale. It was like I think $5 on a game on an Xbox sale, and it's still on my list to play. But Lost Odyssey, I've heard good graphics, good turn based combat, and great soundtrack for the time.
Is it on Game Pass?
I don't know if it's on Game Pass. Um,
No, I don't think so. It is not.
it's
Because
not.
I was trying to look it up right now because I was on Google and it said Lost Odyssey Game Pass. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's not.
It's not. But I don't know. He said it's a lot. I just found it at the same time too. Um, I ended up finding at the same time it's one of the best Xbox games, underrated and off the radars. Man, I think I might want to just give it a try.
Yeah, I mean,
I think I'm gonna roll. I think I'm gonna try to roll with that. Let's see.
I remember
Lost
this one. I
Odyssey.
remember this one specifically because it was like it had that weird White Rabbit song uh, for the trailer, and it's like this one dude just mauling through some robots with his sword, and then all of a sudden, like the sky starts melting, like it starts erupting with lava or
Ooh.
something like that, and I'm like, what is this?
Oh wow.
And that's what I remember from that from an early trailer for it. But Metacritic, for those who care or not care, but it stands at a 78 for critics, which is probably where he's talking about like maybe it might be underappreciated because the user score is at 8.4
Wow.
out of 530 submissions. So it seems like a great game.
It seems like something I want to try. It's one of those that maybe because it doesn't have like the namesake of like Gears or it didn't have the namesake of like Gears or like Halo. It's hard.
Yeah,
It's hard to stand out if no one has heard of your game before, then not many people are gonna buy it. I mean, that's the
I
thing
think
too.
mainly because it's a JRPG and
Okay.
Xbox isn't really known for that. You know, if it had a Final Fantasy name to it, a drag, you know, something like that that people know. Okay, yeah, I know that one. But
Lost
Lost
Odyssey.
Odyssey, I know another one that's up there is Infinite Discovery. I know that
Okay.
title is kind of niche, obscure for the Xbox community, but the people who have
Mhm.
played it, they tell me that it's a really great JRPG.
Okay.
So
Well,
thank you again for everybody who submitted their their submissions and your
yes, thank you
answers.
guys. Thank you. A lot I saw a lot of Halo. I saw a lot of Halos on there
Yeah.
during the submissions, and I had someone bust out with the Mortal Kombat 11. Awesome. Sea of Thieves. And then someone also brought up the Rock Band series, which is awesome as well, and Halo Combat Evolved again, Forza Horizon 2, and well, that the next one will be the favorite. And then someone actually busted out with the Cuphead, the favorite Xbox game, and I don't blame them, man. Cuphead looks beautiful. It's nice.
Man,
And then
I even got a submission that just
um,
said Game Pass in general.
just straight up
Just
like Game
overall
Pass.
Game Pass. I mean, that's valid answer. That is Xbox. That is,
Yeah,
you know,
and
their best or favorite experience.
also, Halo 3, of course, if they're going specific Halo. Psychonauts 2 has been mentioned a couple of times. Um,
I got a Shadowrun.
Shadowrun, Halo Combat Evolve again. I even had someone, I believe, said, I have to double check, but I believe someone said Rock Band. And then and then someone had the Xbox console was their very first console. Awesome. Here's the 20 years. That is correct.
Yeah, that's
Halo
Trojan Gamer.
Reach. There you go. He brought that in. Halo 2 as the best online multiplayer game. I believe that. Um, a lot of awesomes, and then Master Chief Collection, all the classic Halos in one place. I just wish it came fixed from the beginning, not take many years to fix it. But it was still good if you were just more into the single player experience. Forza Horizon 4. Yeah, man, it's Xbox. Keep going, man. You got a thing going.
And with that, you guys know what time it is. It is the time we share our boss pick of the week. Um, this week is it's my turn, I believe, to
Yes,
pick the
right.
boss. And for spoilers, just in case, this is like a 13-year-old game that I'm picking, 13, 14-year-old. But if you don't want to be spoiled on Gears of War, the first one, now's the time. Thank you for joining
Thank you for
us.
being
And
with us. Thank you for being on the podcast. Spoiler alert coming up. We're giving a heads up real quick, just in case.
but mine goes to Gears of War 1, which is the main boss, who goes by what was it, General Rom.
General Rob.
This big beefy locust dude is
Oh
the
my!
final boss.
The trippiest train battle ever.
Yeah, a battle on a train. As a final battle. It was
Yep.
it was weird. It was unique. I was wondering how I was gonna finish that game, given that it's a first person shooter, and I didn't really play many first person shooters with boss battles at that time, and
Wait, you mean third person shooter, right?
oh yeah, third person. I'm
Third
sorry,
person. No worries. Yeah, yeah.
but
So like third person.
yeah, third person shooter,
Yeah.
and it was great because you kind of get that foreboding, imminent, like just this dude just means business, and unfortunately, we didn't get more of him, except for that DLC in Gears of War 3. But um, even at the beginning of the game, the first hour, at the end when you're trying to like survive and escape, this hulky, beastie, Hulk-looking dude just starts just walking, with his
Yep.
serrated blade, just all weird, and takes out one of your commanding officers and just takes him up almost pretty much with one arm. Just stabs him through the
Done.
back and or through the
Ouch.
chest, and he's done. And you're like, damn, this dude's gonna be a killer and difficult. And even in the, I remember playing it, and it was kind of difficult for me because I know he has the krill, the bats that would come in, and you would have to be,
They were at his command with him
yeah,
right there.
and you
Yeah.
had to be like careful on where it was at and try to dodge that. But I love that fight. I felt like it was like a perfect send off to the first game, where you're using cover, you're trying to see the cues from him on what he's going to be doing, using the environment to your advantage as well,
Mhm.
and trying not to whatever it was that he was trying to do with the dodging bullets or dodging krill, whatever it was. Um, I loved it. I actually liked it even more playing it in co-op, just
Mhm.
because you get that friend, that buddy that comes over, and you guys want to play it. And I rarely finished a game as a co-op. Uh, Halo, I did it by myself, but I did eventually play a co-op. But Gears of War was the first time where I really, really cared for completing a game with someone else,
Mhm.
through and through. How'd you feel about General Rom?
I felt about well, I love General Rom hugely as a presence. This huge, gigantic, reptilian-looking monstrosity of basically just ruthless at you in front of you. Um, I was afraid of all the locusts at the time because I was especially afraid of the enemy that was called the boomers at the time because the
Oh
moment you hear
yeah.
that sound, boom, boom, boom. Like that actually made me like the word boom a lot because that was just the creepiest thing. Boom. And then when you got the boom shot, you doing the boom. I also remember General Ram being so iconic. He became a Killer Instinct character.
Oh
He
really? I
he
didn't know
he
that.
just like the Arbiter became a Killer Instinct character because this was all under Microsoft. This was also General Ram is also a character that became a Killer Instinct character as well, which is awesome. But he was a big, gigantic brute. Um, but as far as the battle, I do just remember because it's been a long, long time since I played Gears of War 1.
Mm.
But I do remember it was on the final train because you were submitting that final bomb into the core. So he was the final presence that was in your way. This is the final dude, and I do remember the bats were always like the bats. There's nothing you can do about shooting them or anything. You have to hide. You have to wait
Yeah.
until they're gone. You can't get rid of them that way. But General Rom, just as the huge, imposing presence that he was, finished off Gears of War 1 in an awesome send off. It was one of, I believe it was, besides 2, 2 I didn't feel had the best boss battle. 3 had a better boss battle in the end, at least from my opinion, I think. But no, that was a nice send off from the first one. And General Rom is just, he's a boss. He's, yeah, of course, Boss Key Podcast, but he's the man. He's like you don't want to meet this guy in a dark alley. You don't want this
If
guy
it fits.
anywhere near you. If he fits in this alley, if he's able to fit, run. If he's able to fit, don't worry, he's kind of slow, but run. But General Rom, just legit, awesome boss, awesome Xbox boss pick right there.
Yeah. Just to finish things off. Again, Xbox, huge part of the gaming community. The landscape would be completely different if they never came in.
Yep.
We may have things that we never have gotten before. Who's to say that we've never would get quick resume
Right.
on future consoles, even on if we see it on PlayStation and stuff like that, or the need to push online stability and connectivity so strongly like Xbox has done. For me, Xbox will always be that pillar of my go-to multiplayer. It has the best experiences for me in terms of going online and playing with others, connecting with others, through voice chat or anything like that. The ease of use of everything that it has, from expanding storage, even though we've said, hey, it's like $250, it's $500, it's still ease of access of, hey, I can just plug it in and it works. I plug it in and I don't have to worry about anything else. It works. Or if I take that out and I want to, let's say I have two Xboxes and I just want to, move that to my other one. If I have an Xbox Series X in the main living room and I want to play in my bedroom with the Series S, I can always just unplug that and, put it into the Series S. That type of stuff I love and I enjoy that Xbox has thought about a lot of things and how do we make this easier for the consumer? Hey, cloud saves, it just works. Hey, you'll play the best version of the game that you bought. It works. There's really nothing bad, honestly, for me that I could say about the Xbox platform today. I have plenty for previous years, and no product, no company is perfect. But for me, I have no qualms with this console itself. It was a weird year. COVID happened. It's still happening, actually.
Yeah.
So companies are still, you know they're
The
trying
chip
to work around
shortages.
chip shortages, but
Yeah.
development as well, and we're still seeing
Mm-hmm.
the effects of it. But Xbox launched with Forza Horizon now, last
Mm-hmm.
week or a week and a
Horizon
half
5,
ago,
baby. Yep.
and we're gonna see Halo imminent. We're gonna see Halo within the month, and that's when
Yep.
we start rolling. You're gonna hear a lot of the, hey, what are you playing? Still playing Halo.
Halo. Yep.
Playing
Halo
Halo.
Infinite. Halo Infinite.
Um,
Might have a couple weeks of Halo Infinite when we say what we're playing right now. Halo Infinite. Yep. Halo Infinite. Mm-hmm. Halo Infinite.
but yeah, we just wanted to celebrate the Xbox platform on this episode. It's been a
Yes.
huge impact, for both me and, for both Jesse and I, and as much as I say I'm a PlayStation guy, and I'm always a PlayStation guy, I can't see myself just being PlayStation. It, I have to have my Xbox on there because it's it's vital, I guess, for me to experience what they can bring to the table.
There's room for both consoles, baby. You can have either one.
Yeah,
But Xbox definitely has released a legitimate contender for all time in all the years. So Microsoft, thank you so much for this beautiful console that you've bestowed upon us with all the amazing games and memories that we've come up with.
yeah, thank you. So yeah, this episode is for Xbox lovers, Xbox fan base,
Mm-hmm.
and anybody interested in the Xbox community. Just remember, we were there too. We were there once before, where I scoffed at the Xbox. I didn't want to play the Xbox, and now I play Xbox, and
Yep.
it happens.
Ease. It happens. Life happens.
Life happens. Life finds a way.
There you go. Life finds a way. I like that. I love. Not only like that, I love that.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. Thank you for staying to the end if you got here, and we'll see you guys on the next episode, episode 16th.
That is right. Episode 16 coming up. So obviously, for myself, you can find me at Jesse_Fergoso. Where can they find you again, Big McQuack?
McQuack306. That's on Twitter and Instagram, but I'm mostly on Twitter. I'm not on anything else.
I'm actually the flip side. I'm actually more on Instagram than I am on Twitter.
Out the opposites, man.
I'm like a little flip on that, but I use both. I'm getting a little bit better on my Twitter game. I'm working on it. I'm working on the Twitter game little by little. I definitely get more of a sense of the gaming community on Twitter a lot.
Yeah.
From what I'm noticing, which is awesome. So yeah, find us there on our respective platforms. Congratulations to our winner in regards to $60 for anything your Xbox heart desires. And this was fun recording today, man. I loved it.
Yeah, same here, man. I think I might play some Xbox after this.
Right now, I'm gonna turn that puppy on right now. Oh, of course, my quick resume. I'm playing a movie on my Xbox right now too. I got that option too. Solid State Drive for the win. But for everybody, thank you so much for sticking around, joining us. We love doing this every week. Please leave us comments, notes on Twitter, Instagram, or anything, you guys. We love to hear from you. Love tweeting back when I can. A lot of the times I'm working in the office, guys, so during the week it's a little harder for me, but on weekends I'll be a little bit more open to submitting and tweeting, but it's a little harder in the office because I'm still a dietitian by trade, but I do the best that I can because I love seeing your guys' responses and your talks about games.
So yeah, that's our episode, and we loved every minute of it. We hope you did as well, and we'll see you on the next week's episode. Thank you, guys.
Peace out, everybody. Have a great afternoon, evening, or good night, or morning, whatever time you're listening to. Have a good time, everybody. That's all I'm gonna say.
Have a good
play
time.
More games, and I'll stick you with a grenade later. Sticky grenade. It's Halo time.
Later, you guys.
Laters.